Hi, welcome to the side view. Alright, it is so hot outside, 97 degrees, that my phone, despite two air conditioners and two fans, is overheating. So I'm going to make shorter videos for the rest of the day today. Craziness. But I do have to do this on the phone because I have to show you what's on my computer and what's on my other phone. And that is something you can't just do with the screen capture video thingy. Alright, so first I want to do the words of the day because if you're like me and you grew up with like words of the day calendars and like words of the day things pre-internet. Remember pre-internet? You probably don't remember that. I do. I've been a word geek for a long time. And I love words of the day stuff. They never stuck, but they were kind of fun to see, especially the crazier words that were super specific and just really fun. But I forgot that you could do that in another language. But Twitter reminded me recently, and there are quite a few folks, doing different words of the days in the Chinese language. And so, of course, I have to follow them on Twitter because I love this stuff. And some of them are words and some of them are phrases, so I have to just have that disclaimer out there. So my words of the day that I'm going to show you might not be just individual words, but I think you can handle it. Alright, we're going to go to the screen now, so here we go. Tripod and temperature, please be on our side. We're a low-tech kind of operation here. Got my little stand. Oh dear. Alright. Here we go. So the first one I want to share with you is Transparent Language. And they're just a general overall site for many different languages. And in this case, they do words of the day in Chinese that I think you might enjoy. The word of the day on this particular day is, and I don't know how to say it yet, but let's click on the audio, shall we? Huh. Okay, and that leads you over to their site. Here's the word of the day. Here we go.
商场
商朝
商场
商朝
商场
商场 商场
商场
商场. Okay, so what they're actually showing you here, and this is a little different than the second one I'll show you, but what they're showing you here is more of a jumping off point. They're showing you it's a word of the day, they're showing you the Chinese character, they're showing you what it means, and then they're saying go here, and then there's a lot more information over here. I'm showing you this first as an example. It is not my favorite example because it's not, you can't just view it in its original form. However, they do have a lot of useful language, so I do occasionally take what's here and then go on to Playco and then put it into my Anki deck. I generally don't, as you saw from my surprise that this audio is here, I generally don't go here. For the audio, I'll go into Forvo and I will download a file and put that into my Anki deck. So I generally don't go over to that site, so I wish it was just all right here. Kind of closer to this one here, Lingo Bus. So just to repeat, Transparent Chinese, you can search for Chinese word of the day. The second one, the one that is my absolute favorite this week, is Lingo Bus. And this particular one, they're doing phrases a lot recently. Cash or credit card, how do you pay? And actually, yep, how do you pay? And this one, I used to use jin when I went to the wet markets when I lived in Nanjing all the time. And so I used to use banjin. Probably doing the tones wrong with that, but it's how much for one jin. Oh man, I think banjin was like half a kilo and this is 1 kilo. That's a lot. Whatever you're buying, that's a lot of. And so they'll put the characters here, the pinyin here. Again, I love having both. I need both right now, probably forever. And then the English here. They could probably do with another picture and the sound in here. Do they have sound anywhere? That is a good question. I don't see sound at all. So again, this is something that, and I have done this, I'll take the characters, put them into Playco, I'll take the sentence, put it into Playco or Forvo, and, I won't put it into Playco to get the sound. My apologies. I'll put it into Forvo, get a sound file, and stick that over into my Anki deck. So it's still not everything you need, but I do find this more comprehensive than this one here where you have to go over here. However, we do have full-on examples here, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, they both have their advantages and disadvantages, but in general, I love this because every day, even without thinking about it, as I'm going through, I'm back. As I'm going through my Twitter, I accidentally get access to new vocabulary. And some of it I do put over into my Anki deck. Can you see that? There we go. I'll put it over into my Anki deck. Generally speaking, I'll put it either into words, which is at the bottom, or I'll put it into phrases, which is the longer bit. So the one about the how much is it would go into the phrases. If there are specific words that I think would be really useful, that'll go into words, and I'll copy the sounds from Forvo, F-O-R-V-O, and I'll copy maybe the meaning from Playco if it isn't available on the site. Although these two particular ones that I'm recommending do generally have the meaning translated. I do want to show you one more thing. I use Google Docs and Google Drive and a lot of Google mobile app things for my Android quite a lot, and I've found a new purpose for my Keep. Keep is one of the sort of like a notepad. It is a notepad. It's a notepad device. And so what I did is you can put different lists within there, and sorry, my tripod's dying, so I'm trying to do this. I'm holding my tripod with my right hand, and that is not working. I'm about to start using my nose. I use my nose on my phone. Here we go. And so it scrolls through and does different things, right? And I've started to put, yeah, you saw that happen. I started to put some of the ones from Lingobus into my Keep. And this is the one I tried to use last night when I was at the convenience store, and it's tough because the gentleman who works at that convenience store, he's right next to a really big complex with a health club and a lot of restaurants that a lot of expats go to, a lot of English-speaking expats, and so he speaks a relatively fair amount of English, and so I'm trying to use a little bit of Chinese with him, and he wants to keep communicating in English because I'm sure my Chinese sucks. So I was trying to, as he pointed to the bag, because we got more than one drink this time, so I wanted to say, "Buyong le xie," which is no thanks, I don't need a bag, basically. And he wasn't having it. And I realized when he actually, because my husband was there, and we were saying it back and forth a bit, and I was going, man, I thought I had it, but no, I didn't have it. Buyong le xie, and le is the one that makes it more formal instead of the bu yao xie, which is what I was saying before, which is just no thanks, basically no thanks. I wasn't even saying it with xie, I was just saying bu yao, which is just like, nah, don't eat it, I think. So I was trying to be a bit nicer, and I wanted to use some of the vocabulary that I was learning, so I just put it in my Keep, and so I could just, if I can show you this. Oh, so what ended up happening is that, I'm going to try to fix the tripod here, is that my husband and I were saying it back and forth to each other a number of times, and the cashier finally got what I was trying to do, and so he said it out loud, and I realized I was putting pronunciation spaces, pauses is probably what they're called, where the different syllables were in Chinese, and he was just saying it all together in one, like if I can repeat it, he was probably saying something closer to "buyong le xie," like without, and I can't even do it as fast as he was doing it. So I was like, okay, next time I have to do it, I have to kind of slur it more together, because when you put the tones together, they sort of change a little bit, sort of very similar to blending language in English, where one sound at the end of a word will change when you put a new word next to it. It sounds like it's pretty similar with the tones, although how much it's affected and what's affected is probably different. So basically, I just go into my Keep on my phone, and it's really not showing up great, but you can see on the top right already, I've got one there, and they're in purple from Lingobus, so it's really easy to see the ones that are there, and I've got a couple there, and I've got just a general phrase over here from Weibo. Oh, because, okay, I wanted to know how to search for graffiti in Weibo, so I copied the characters there too. So you can just put a whole bunch of different phrases in there, and I'm doing this for the phrases I want to use speaking-wise in person when I'm trying to do something in my real life. Again, not the main focus of my language learning. I do primarily want to read, but since I'm finding as I'm learning words and phrases that I'm able to hear them when people say them. I figured, why not? I'll just carry around a few phrases and see if I can actually get some usage out of this as well with speaking. Why not? Why not? Anyway, so I strongly recommend Transparent Chinese for their word of the day and LingoBus for the word of the day. You can also just search for hashtag on word of the day, and then probably Chinese also. I see a lot of that hashtag in there as well. Or if you're learning another language, I've seen a fair number of word of the days there as well. Now do keep in mind that a lot of people are putting phrases in the words of the day, so it's a liberal expression to basically say tiny chunks of language. But I find this, even if it doesn't stick immediately, when I hear stuff a few days later or a few weeks later and I go, wait, I've heard that before. This has happened quite a bit to me, where I'm not even paying attention as I'm scrolling through Twitter, and I'll see something, I'll go, I don't think I really need that, and I'll hear it a few days later in the wild, and I'll go, oh wow, and I'll go back to it, and then I'll be like, wow, that's pretty amazing. So input. My goal is to get lots of input, and Twitter is not failing me, man. I'm getting a lot of input from them. So I would 2 thumbs this up, but I'm holding up my tripod right now because it's not dealing with the heat either. Okay, off I go. More coffee. I hope this has been helpful. If you know of any Twitter handles that do this kind of thing that I haven't mentioned, then by all means send them my way, or share them in the comments below so we can share them with everybody that is learning the Chinese language slowly by slowly. Thank you. Bye-bye.